Well, welcome back to another segment of Arizona Mortgage News. We're here with our expert in the field of mortgages, Mike Goblet of United Mortgage and Financial Group. And today we have a listener inspired topic, which is the three most important things a new home buyer should be doing before they even look. Hey, good to see you, Mike.
Good morning, Matt. Good to see you again.
So what's up with this? This is stuff to do even before you start talking to anybody, I understand.
Yeah, it really, there are things people should be doing before making a decision, I want a new home. There are things that will make the process easier for them and maybe even really, not maybe, but to help them overall in finding the right home and, equally as important, the right mortgage product.
Makes sense.
So what I think the number one thing, somebody who wants to buy a new home, whether they're a first-time home buyer or just simply buying a new home, even though they own one, is know what your credit report says.
Gotcha.
So maybe even particularly with all the breaches that have been happening with the Targets, the Home Depot, and other companies online, it's really important for you to pull a copy of your own credit report to see if there's any unusual activity that's been happening on it, or maybe something that's happened in the past and you weren't aware was there.
That's good, or maybe even subscribe to a service that gives you quarterly updates so that you aren't surprised.
So you can do that, and they give you online. Those cost you money, but there are things you can actually do for free. The credit bureaus actually allow you, each bureau will allow you to pull your credit one time a year for free. So if you space it out between each credit bureau, you can do it 3 times during the year.
Aha, good little trick.
Yes, and get it free, but that tells you what they're reporting. You can go to annualcreditreport.com to get a free copy of your credit report.
Very nice.
Keep in mind, this won't give you a credit score, but it will tell you what's being reported by each bureau on that credit report. Now, it's also a little misleading. A lot of people subscribe to companies like you said, or even the credit bureaus themselves, and they give you credit scores. But the interesting thing about that is that may actually reflect the score you're going to get on your credit report when a mortgage company pulls it, or it may not. In fact, usually it will be lower. Because what happens is when you want to know your own credit and they pull it, it's what's called a softer pull, and the algorithms that are set into the system to indicate, you know, what you're trying to sign up for, in this case like a mortgage, are much more stringent than, say, the algorithms if you just want to know what it is in general, you're buying insurance, a car. They all have different guides that give them the reports, and that's what makes the numbers different.
Okay.
So just to be aware, if you have the services, that the score may or may not turn out to be the same for what the reason I just mentioned. So what's the most important thing, number 2? And that is know what you can or want to afford in a home. Now, that isn't as simple as what's the price, okay, or what's my payment. There are a number of factors that tie into that you should understand. The first is probably what is called debt-to-income ratio. And the debt-to-income ratio breaks out into 2 standards. The first number, which tells you what is your mortgage payment, including PITI or mortgage insurance if you need it. What is your total payment versus your net income, okay? If you're self-employed, and just versus your W-2 income if you're a W-2 employee. The first number needs to be no greater than 38%. So that if you're making, I'm just going to put, you know, $1,000 a month, your payment can't be greater, your total payment can't be greater than $380.
Simple
Now,
math. Makes sense.
yep, so just do the multiples to, to get where you want. But the second number is equally as important in your debt to income, and that second number is 43%. What that represents is your total debt that shows on your credit report, like your credit cards, your car payments, any mortgages or student loans, anything you would have, added together with your mortgage payment should not exceed 43%. Okay? So, that gives you another guideline. Now, also be aware that Fannie and Freddie give you a little bit of leeway in there. And if you run through what's called the automated services of Fannie or Freddie, they may allow you to go up to 45%, depending upon, for instance, how much assets you have in reserves or what your debt looks like based upon other things. So you can, in some cases, go higher than 43%, up to 45%. So,
very good. And what's our final point?
well, there's actually one more point to what you can afford, and that's the down payment. And this is equally as important, because a down payment, how much you have to bring to the table, can vary from 0 money down, if you choose to, on a VA, to 3.5% down on an FHA, or a minimum 5% on a conventional. Now, a really good change that's happened with the loans recently is gift money is allowed even up to 100% of the down payment value. In the past, you had to have a certain amount of your own. So if you're in a situation where a family member can provide you gift money to help you get into a better home, the entire down payment can be provided if necessary or desired. So that's an important part.
Interesting.
The final piece that you want to know is learn what your options are. And learn that from a professional. Okay, you can go online and do some studying, but come to somebody like myself or a mortgage broker that can get you, number one, a pre-qual and tell you how much technically you're qualified for. But there are different programs out there that many times a bank and other places won't even tell you about, like whether an ARM can work for you, or lender paid MI, which can actually save you money by choosing even a higher rate, as I indicated in a prior blog. So talk with a professional that's interested in your best interests and getting you into the best program, rather than just quoting you a loan program.
Very good. Well, wow, there's a lot of free work to do if you really want to do things right.
Well, and start early. You should start 2 to 3 months before you begin to actually look. That would be the best suggestion I can make. And get pre-qualified. Again, there's no obligation with a pre-qualification. You can get it from anybody, and usually they're free. And like I said, there's not even an obligation.
Makes sense. Well, Mike, what's the best way for our listeners here to get in touch?
Well, you can obviously reach me at the office, and the phone number for United Mortgage Financial Group is 480-503-3533. You can call me on my cell, 480-220-2329, or email me at mike.goblet, Goblet, at our company initials, umfginc.com.
Excellent. Well, thanks for sharing your wisdom once again, Mike. We'll look forward to the next segment here.
Okay, Matt. You have a great day. I look forward to talking with you again.
You too. Thanks.
Bye now.
Bye-bye.